Morning, Brad.
Good morning, George. How are you?
Good.
It's good.
Starting to warm up, I feel like we've moved out of... I don't want to talk about weather every time I hop on this podcast, but like I'm relieved that we're no longer at zeros.
Yeah, we've turned a corner. I call it too early every year, but it's spring. We're done with winter. Yeah. We won't be, but I live in hope.
Yeah, absolutely. It was good having Andrew on last week. I thought he did a good job unpacking it yesterday.
Yeah, he did,
yes. Yeah, I really enjoyed that sermon. So.
Yes. I loved it. Yesterday, I went to 5 p.m. He stepped us through what was in God's Word, and seeing what is in God's Word was the blessing. Like, it was just such a... it's just such a beautiful moment and such beautiful chapters of seeing the King on the throne and the Lamb who was slain for us. Beautiful.
Yeah, absolutely. It was really good, and we're going to kick on this week into 6 and 7. So obviously the vibe will continue.
The vibe's important. Yes.
Yeah, because there's a lot of detail in all of this.
Yeah.
But we'll start with favourite of the week. Last week we had dinner parties, which I think all of us were racking our brains for ages to try and get. This one should be a little bit more straightforward. What's your favourite sports team? And it doesn't have to be a specific code.
So I am typically I'm meant to be a West Tigers fan.
Okay.
But I really can't stand the West Tigers. Like, they drive me crazy.
That's probably the sign of a good fan.
Maybe.
How frustrated you get.
But they did beat the Roosters yesterday. Surprisingly. Like, I had to double check. I'm like, there's no way this has happened. I expected them to have 60 points put on them. But they pulled it off somehow.
They're coming good.
But if I'm really serious, who do I love watching? I'm going to upset lots of listeners, but I love watching the Panthers.
Yeah.
I just love the outfit. I love I love, Nathan's calm and anyway, I won't go into it because I know it'll anger Queenslanders, but I love watching the Panthers. Yeah, very good. For you?
Well, if we can stick with rugby league, when I first moved out to Australia, we moved near Newcastle, so I have to go for the Knights by default. Ellen again's like, you're English, that doesn't make sense. You live in Queensland, you should go for a Queensland team. We don't really follow the league anyway, so I'm probably a Lions fan as well. But yeah, I get behind the Knights. I'm
Knight sympathetic.
Yeah, I feel like most people, they're a non-threat. It's like, the Knights have won. Oh, that's good on you guys. You're not going to win a flag. It's not 2003 again.
No, that's right. It's a long time since then.
Yeah, but no, I think it's a good stadium.
Yeah. Yeah, and sneak in a second. You are a Lions,
I'm a Brisbane Lions fan, but I also have a team for just about every sport. I follow.
So we could be here a long time.
We could be. Yeah. I won't do that. Maybe that's another one of like, how many sports do you follow? I'd be like, a lot. Too many.
All of them.
Yeah. All right. Do we have a famous last words?
Famous last words, if I can capture it in a sentence. This is a perspective of the end where God's people are showed through trial to be preserved.
Yeah.
Yep. So a perspective. This is a perspective of the end. So we are getting to the end. Like, this is describing last things today. So we are there.
Yeah. Yeah, we're into probably the most apocalypse.
Yes.
Kind of part of the apocalyptic.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, this is where a preacher, like this is...
Fire and brimstone's coming out.
Well, yeah, it's also where I start to sweat a little more.
Yeah. And I see you have a preserve.
I do. I'm not sure if
this
is
story?
A preserve or a conserve. But
I don't know.
This is my story. I brought in my jam. So my story is about my relationship with jam.
Okay.
I don't really like jam, but I respect jam. So
I didn't know someone could have respect for jam.
So I don't really like jam because I feel like growing up, if I wanted some dessert, my mum would say, why don't you have jam on bread? And I'm like, do you think we're Dickensian, Mum? Like, we have chocolate these days. And so, like, it was always low down on my, could I have some...
Just if I ask for afternoon tea, I get like, you have some cereal. I'm like, Mum, that was breakfast.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing.
So, look, it has its place on scones, jam and cream. It has that.
I love that you said it in that order because as a Brit, that's a contentious subject, but I'm on board with that order.
Right.
So we'll move
I don't know how the physics works the other way around. But anyway, I don't really like jam though. I feel like it's down the lower end of the sweet things.
Is that just all jams? This is going to become a jam podcast at this point, but like I'm kind of interested.
Well, like some are better than others.
Yeah,
Like I've had
yeah.
some good jam. That's true. Anyway, but I do respect jam. I respect
Okay.
jam in that. Like imagine when jam was first invented, it's like we've got all of these strawberries, too many of them.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? We've got no refrigeration. We live in a world where things rot. Good things rot. So what are we going to do? We are going to conserve this.
Yeah.
I don't even know, like by
Yeah.
putting lots of sugar in there, sealing it up, and it will just continue to last through the kind of decaying nature of this age.
Yeah.
So I have respect for it. That's cool. That is there's a healthy human flourishing moment right there when you can take your, raspberries and make them into that. The reason I do that is because I think that is kind of the journey we're going to go on in chapters 6 and 7 in Revelation. It is this story of we live in an age of decay. This era is hard, yet there is a conserve, there is a preserving nature which will be beautiful and sweet. And so more than just respect, there is some truly sweet aspect to the way this pans out in the end.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, well, now I know how you stand on jam and how jam applies to Revelation.
That's true, yes.
Yeah. Very good. Well, I think for the podcast today, we'll open the seals. We obviously don't open the seals. Jesus will do that.
That's
but
true, yes,
we'll sort of work through some of those.
We get to watch.
Watches,
Yep.
Each of those are opened.
Yep.
Which I think, as you're sort of talking about, the conserve, preserve nature is really important because we're also, as we've talked all about the timings of this, we're coming in off like Nero and Domitian as emperor rule, where Christians were absolutely battered. Like under Nero, he blamed them for the fire of Rome, and they just got persecuted fiercely sort of through that whole period. So then, as we see our first 4 riders, there's a big signifying, from what I can see also through the likes of Zechariah 6, there's a big signifying of Jesus is in control here. Like the 4 riders that he's sending out, the first one, some scholars seem to think that it is Jesus on a horse. That is the Christ-like leader of the army because it comes out with an impenetrable force.
Right, okay.
And I think that's where it's God is in, Jesus is in control. Not only is he opening the seals, but he's leading out an army.
Okay,
So I think it's interesting also when you do parallel it back to Zechariah 6 because there were 4 horses again, almost the same colours as that, white, black, red. I think dappled is the one in Zechariah 6, but they're out to patrol the earth and to punish the earth.
Yep.
And we see the same again. Yep. But I think the 4 different categories straight off the bat are really interesting because, the first one is like an impenetrable army. But the second one, we see, I think it's the red horse, which is just to bring war.
Yes.
And it's just but it's also not war against God as such. It just appears to be war between people. And then, the commentaries would also say civil wars within that. So I don't know. There are some people that be like, oh, that's a specific time period. I feel like we see that throughout all of human history from,
I think I see those 4 just describing this age. So it is an age where, so I didn't go with Jesus as that. It is an age of conquest, different conquest, and nations and leaders will push people around. Obviously, where there's conquest, there's someone who's losing. There's prisoners of war and refugees, and there is just strife, ambition, and war. Of course, we just live in a warring age. That's the way things. Force is used all of the time. The weird, to get into the weird. What's the thing about not spoiling? Don't damage the oil and the wine. 2 pounds of wheat for a day's wage. Yeah. Those things are inflated. Not that we don't read that straight away.
Yeah.
And so the uneven distribution of wealth is just a feature of Like, I feel like today we're living this kind of cost of living crisis, and it gets blamed on this conflict over here. Like, it's real. Well, I've never been so interested in the Strait of Hormuz before. I didn't even know where it was, and now I'm like, oh my goodness, don't block it. Like, don't block it again. I need fuel for my car.
Yeah.
And so we do just live in an age of uneven distribution of wealth. We have enough, but people stack the deck against particular other nations. And then, of course, death, the last one being death. We do live in an age of death. It stalks us.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting as well. Like, we also see Jesus warn of the warring side in, like, Mark 13.
Yes.
So it's not just in Revelation that we see that that's going to be a thing. So he sort of pulls that out as he's preaching. And then the wine and the oil in the wine is interesting, because I think that, like, historically, through some of the research, I also found that Domitian had noted that there was it was an acute cereal shortage, but there was a cereal shortage at the time, and he was cutting off wine production to increase corn growing in the region. So,
because would this have been a time they were getting like lots of their grain from North Africa? I think that was the
I think so. So there was a shift in what they should be prioritising production of to try and continue to feed the empire. So it's interesting then where the seals is also, like, we're into prophecy and we're talking church universal, but there's still those, like, historical sort of bits and pieces throughout where the church was like,
that this makes complete sense. You hearing that, reading this, first readers
we know all
about this. Yeah.
But yeah, I think the fourth seal is interesting, signifying death, because at the term Hades following close behind.
Yes.
Hades sort of closely related to hell as far as this book is concerned. We're not talking about the Greek mythological figure of Hades. No. But there's obviously, even for unbelievers, earthly death isn't the end of the story. So my first question for you is, like, annihilationism is, I suppose, a theological concept that maybe some have heard of, some haven't heard of. Basically, where unbelievers will be terminated.
Yes.
They won't be, they'll be annihilated and will not continue suffering in hell forever. Where do you sit on annihilationism? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, so there is enough in the Bible to go, hell, there is a punishment that is conscious and eternal. And so I think annihilationism is attractive, because you're like, man, there's got to be some end. But I think I see God valuing kind of this gift of being and consciousness more than that. And so, reading about Hades, I think it's fascinating, because Hades, like, is the name of a Greek god. And obviously it has, as language does, it's gone from, he's not just the god of the underworld, it's snuck into language that is obviously just used at this time as John's writing, because he's not talking about the Greek god. He is talking about a place. It's real interesting. We have this thing of heaven and hell. Like, we go, they are the two places. And that's not terrible. However, I think if we interviewed an ancient, they would have a category for the dead, the place where the dead live.
In between.
Borrowing from Sheol. So, yes, they have a far more robust view of people existing, but not here where we can see them after death. Whatever that means. Like, there will be a sifting and we'll see the way this turns out in the end. But yes, there is. That, like, I would go, no annihilation.
No annihilation, but hell consistent for unbelievers that don't go through the way, the truth, and the life.
And I guess it's worth going, okay, well, let's trace the way this is developed through the book of Revelation.
Okay. That's helpful. All right, so those are the first four seals. We see four horses, one sort of signifying conquest, second war, third famine, and the fourth being death. Opening the fifth one is interesting. What are your thoughts on the martyrs? Like, and who do they include?
So I guess go back a step. We were in chapters 4 and 5 on the weekend, and that's what we looked at last. So a breathtaking, glorious, insight. Like if we want, there's been this paradigm shift all of the time for John. He's on Patmos, craggy exile Patmos, and yet he sees the throne, the Lamb. It feels like such a jump then to go back to chapter 6. Oh, we're back to this age that is filled with all those things: conquest, war, famine, death.
Yeah.
And so, like in some ways, it is describing, okay, back to what's going to be the default of this age. Yeah. And one of them as well is, actually, church, you are going to suffer. You are going to, your view, as followers of Jesus, they crucified Jesus. Don't expect anything more than that. And so there is a way in which that is going to be a marker of being a follower of Jesus. And so it follows that there will be martyrs, which the word, we translate it sometimes witness, and so we go, they are witnesses of who Jesus is, and it costs them that.
Yeah.
I appreciate this fifth seal being opened because we actually get a picture. Like this is the clearest picture of what people are doing after they die.
Yeah.
And I think it is fascinating. They too are waiting. How long, Sovereign Lord, holy and true, until you judge the inhabitants of the earth and avenge our blood?
Yeah.
Like that's interesting.
There's a concept of time there still.
Yes.
Which is
and that they too are waiting the end. So there is something healthy in a Christian dies and they go to be with Jesus. That is true. But there is also this waiting thing that happens for them as well. Yeah. So that's an interesting insight into that.
Yeah, and it's interesting, I think, within that as well, that they're not that the number needs to be complete.
Yes.
That in order for the judgment to come, that number needs to be full.
Yes.
And there's a number of martyrs and a number of Christians that will lose their life as witness.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Yes, how long? Well, it's not there yet is the answer.
Yeah.
And so for us now, right here, right now, there is an answer. Why not yet, Lord? Well, because there has not been the amount of witnesses and martyrs, witness/martyrs that.
Yeah. So you think, we can fit there will be more before the end comes.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and it's interesting as well, like the short while, like all the time periods within this, so it's sort of all over the shop, because we get to not longer than 1,000 years, and it's like I find that all interesting. It's not like, we're going to have dinner soon. It's like a different kind of soon, or like I'm going to graduate soon.
Yes.
But even within those two, like you've got that example of, if you're going to have dinner soon or graduate, they're totally different time periods.
Yes.
So there's no real understanding, certainly that I could find, where how long is soon. But not going to be sitting here going, I think it's going to be in this long, like when that number will be complete.
No. Yeah. And in our household, dinner will be soon, which ranges from anywhere. So there is kind of this, soon probably sums it up really well, the flexibility of soon.
Yeah. And then we get to the sixth one, which I think is probably as close to a true modern apocalypse.
Yes.
As we can get.
Yes.
We see, earthquakes and sky going black, moon becoming blood, stars falling. Which in some of the research I feel would be meteors. Like we're talking about skies, like the stars falling, like that kind of concept. But again, like it could be far more significant than that of what we've sort of never understood. So, I think it's interesting. Yeah,
so I think one of the questions, the seals are being opened sequentially.
Yeah.
But we would read this and go, but there isn't like a time of conquest, a time of war. It is more like I don't know music.
Yeah.
But, there's a treble clef and a bass clef, and you actually play those things at the same time.
Yeah.
So I would say these are all happening at the same time. We see the martyrs, the fifth seal. It does seem like there is this moment of, it is a moment of judgment. It almost answers how long, sixth seal. Well, there will be a day
Yeah.
where those who are pushing everyone around with their war and famine and conquest and death, they will be held to account. And so it's like the Lamb is opening them, and while they're being played at the same time, there is a way in which the end is coming, the soon end is coming, and I just think it answers. There will be, like for whatever, however literally we want to take those, there will be like this cosmic shifting judgment that is going to come on those who look like they're holding the cards in this age.
Yeah, I think it's interesting how we've talked about like apocalypse movies in the past and how every single one of them, I think you were even talking about it last week, at the end of the apocalypse movie, it's like the humans win the day.
Yes.
And this sixth seal could not be further from the truth, because you've got the most powerful, the billionaires, the kings, the rulers, running to caves in mountains, being like, hide us from the face of the Lamb.
Yes.
And it's like there's a lordship of Jesus that is very apparent for everyone, not even for just believers at this point. It's like there is an understanding of what's causing this as well amongst the human population.
I haven't fact-checked this, but when I was a kid, there was a movie called Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Remember the original Ghostbusters?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Absolutely.
Well,
Bill
right,
Murray
okay.
at his finest.
Okay. In that, I think they quote something, or they at least cosplay as Bible interpreters in there.
Yeah.
I remember being so freaked out by it.
Yeah.
And like on one hand, having read Revelation, coming to know that it's about Jesus, like makes you breathe a sigh of relief. Oh, good. Like there is a way to escape that sort of judgment. Yet at the same time, I think we're meant to see the sixth seal getting opened and go, oh, there is a cosmic shaking thing that's going to happen. There is a judgment that is coming, and I am meant to quake along with the cosmos a little about that.
Absolutely, yeah.
Or not even a little. I am meant to feel that, and I'm meant to, like the two feelings of, that's really bad, and yet at the same time, thankfully there is the Lamb who will see me through it. They are meant to be the twin feelings, I think. Because I just go, I don't think you should not take those, you shouldn't take those descriptions of what is going to happen to the cosmos literally. And I say that because when you read the Old Testament, you know, there's Judges 4 and 5, and one describes a battle, like a normal battle, the way, you know, Deborah and Barak and the bad camping trip with Jael and the tent peg, all of those things. And then the very next one, it describes the stars fighting for them. And so, again, this is apocalyptic, describing something big is happening. God is enacting something big at this moment.
Yeah, and the bits that we would consider unchanging, i.e. night and day, stars in the sky, the bits that just never get touched. Like as much as goes on in our world, those never get touched. And then here we see those specific areas of what we would consider untouchable falling apart.
That's true. So that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
When the worst happens, we always go, well, there's another day. You know, the sun will rise again tomorrow.
Yeah. It's the most constant.
And this is saying, no, even those things will be stripped away. They will be shaken, and the surest thing is actually the Lamb and not in those things. Yeah.
Which then I think moves us nicely into the next one, which is God's people of the chapter 7, 144,000. I think it's worth just mentioning before we get into the numbers that it's interesting that we have complete annihilation and shaking of the cosmos, annihilation of the created world. We're not going to go back to annihilationism.
Yes.
Then we dealt with that.
Yes.
But then we see that all of that will be held off until God has marked his people. So I think you read the chapter 6 and go, oh no, with a shaking voice, and then you read chapter 7 and go, oh, okay. Which I think brings great comfort.
Oh, I think it is, like, I feel like whatever gasp in horror we're experiencing at the end of chapter 6, we are meant to, like, there is an unfolding drama where you're right. There is the four corners held back. There is a way in which, no, it will be stayed. Those things will be stayed. Yeah, you're right, until God seals his people.
And what do we think the seal is? Do you have any, like, I was reading commentaries and there are...
What do they say?
Well, some people say the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit is the seal.
Yes.
And as much as, we talk about, it's probably a physical thing, it could be an invisible thing, you often hear within the Holy Spirit and his role within the church, we have a visible church of who turns up to church, and there's an invisible church of who the Holy Spirit lives within our churches.
Yep.
And I think that from the sort of readings of the commentaries, that made the most sense to me. I was like, I think the seals, as much as it's the forehead, I think that, again, that's imagery that we see throughout the Bible. Like Cain was almost marked in the same way, but obviously for different purposes.
Yes.
It's like God is marking people, and that part is clear, because we also get to the mark of the beast later.
Yeah.
But the sequence of that is interesting. He marks his people first.
He does indeed,
and he sets us apart.
Yeah. Oh, I think that is so important. That is such a big thing. The mark of the beast is such a thing, and yet we are meant to get to this part and go, no. First of all, God marks his people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. When we went to Austria last year, I'm really bad at buying presents, and so we went to Schönbrunn Palace, and I did buy like wax seal things with the kids' names,
with
the first letter.
Oh yeah.
And so it's like it does two things. It'll seal a letter, and so it's like this is sealed for the recipient. But the seal, the insignia on the seal says this belongs to, this was sent from such and such. Yep. And so, I think that is certainly a biblical picture of God going, these are mine, these are my people that I love, I have bought, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that imagery. Yeah, that's good. So 144,000, that brings some fun numbers. The thumbnail in this will say some maths, because I feel like there's some maths involved in this. I do have to share that I think the JWs get this sort of so literal. Of which Ellen will always say that if she gets approached by a JW, she's going to ask if she's taking their spot, because there's such a set number that go to heaven.
Well, yes. I think surely by now they're like that's full. There's good
why continue to evangelize?
Yes.
But maybe it's so that they can secure their spot within it. The more people they bring, but it's just confusing when you've got a fixed number.
Don't they have? I think they've got a theology of having the cheap seats.
The cheap seats. You're not part of the centre. You don't get courtside.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
nosebleeds to heaven.
Yes. Yeah. So that is one literal way of taking this.
Yeah.
What are our options, George?
Well, Revelation 21, to skip ahead, we've got 12 tribes and we've got 12 apostles.
Yes.
Multiplying that gives us 144. Yep. And then we see 1,000 being representative of a multitude.
Yes.
More often than not. So if you to combine everything together, this appears to be the complete church of God. Yes. This is all the apostles, this is all the tribes, everyone together across the Old Testament, the New Testament. We have under the New Covenant.
Yep.
The 144,000.
Yep.
Obviously, it breaks down 12,000 from each, but again, the 12s and the 12s and the 12s is always been representative of God's people.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's too much more to it.
No, I don't. I think that there is something worthwhile in not overthinking that, because I think that's solid. That is good. God's Old Testament, 12 tribes. Yeah. 12 apart. Yeah, you're exactly right. Times by 1,000. Now, it says, it very specifically numbers them all, and then after that there is a multitude no one could count.
Yes.
Andrew and I were talking, and he kind of went he's got a more precise mind than me, and so he's like, those two things don't square. But for someone who doesn't like counting, if someone said there's 12,000 of them there, 144,000 of them there, and I'm like, well, I can't count that, so it fits really well to just go. I think that 144,000, are there any missing? No. Has God somehow forgotten some, missed them? Have they been, chewed up by the red horse and all of that? No, they are all there. Everyone sealed is there.
Yeah.
And then the panning out and going, wow, actually, there are a people preserved, conserved. God has been at work in this age, bringing his people.
And Jesus says, even as Paul would say as well, that they came to save the Jew and the Gentile.
Yes.
But even where we have the woman with the give pearls to pigs story, is Jesus came to save the Jew first, Gentile second.
Yes.
This does structure it similarly, where you've got the remnant of Israel, the faithful remnant, that we would probably call Messianic Jews now, that have come to see the Lordship of Christ, are rescued and complete per Revelation 7, and everyone else also being all the Gentiles.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
An Easter egg that I don't think we should go down this rabbit hole, but the list of the tribes are not necessarily all of the tribes as they're listed in the Old. So maybe a listener.
Okay.
I just feel like the listeners can
picked up
tell
on
me
that,
what
didn't
is
you?
wrong with the list of tribes. Who's missing? Who's included? I don't know why. I don't have an answer. I don't have a good answer to that.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah. Okay. I think I don't know what else to take from that really.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I think to wrap this up,
Yes.
some of the application from this, because we've been sort of through all the seals, the 144,000. I think it's, and we sort of touched on it a little bit, that God's holding it back. We see the parallel then to 2 Peter 3, where God doesn't want anyone to perish.
Yes.
And as much as we see judgment, and we're about to see a lot of judgment and a lot of destruction and the end of the world, he's wanting everyone to be saved and to turn.
That there is a patience. There is a kindness and patience that is happening in this age. Yeah.
Yeah, which I feel like that should be shaping how we approach life. Like I thought Andrew did a really good job of being like, okay, so what are you living for?
Yes.
In his sermon, and I think this speaks to that as well, that there is an end.
Yes.
The end is coming.
Yes.
And we want, like, God will only be patient for so long.
Yep.
How is that affecting our lives to friends and family and co-workers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that I wouldn't suggest anyone goes out and wears a sandwich board saying the end is near.
No.
But, yeah, like you're right. I'm really glad, I became a Christian, in my kind of late teens. Am I really glad that Jesus, didn't return before the year 2000? Yeah, I'm actually eternally grateful for that.
Yeah.
And so while that is a very human perspective thing, I think we are meant to get that. And I think we are all, so the application is, yes, this is the time of patience and kindness, the time of witnessing and being, martyrs in the broadest sense of that word. But also it is this time where God is sealing his people. There is none of his people will be lost between now and then. And I actually think this crazy chapter with the horses and the stars falling, it's meant to actually be the conserve one where we're like, this particular camera angle of the end, what we're meant to take from this is God's people will be preserved.
Yeah.
God will bring them through even the cosmos shaking things that'll happen.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's a really good wrap up. I think as believers within, even just what you just described, 1 Thessalonians 5 says that we're not appointed for wrath, but for salvation. So there's an urgency, there's a purpose to our lives, but we can also rest assured in all of this that we're good, we're safe.
That's right.
We're secured
in
Christ Jesus.
I think the next cycle will give us a bit more, it'll give us a different camera angle that makes it even more confronting in some ways. But yes, this one, we're meant to finish. I'll actually preach the first bit of chapter 8 as well, because that is the 7th seal, so I can finish all of them.
Yep.
And there is just a peace. There is a moment of peace where God's people are heard. And so I think we are meant to finish this out of 7 going, God's going to win.
Yeah, very good. Well, that's a nice tidy wrap up, I think.
Yep. Very good, George. Thanks so much for your work.
Yeah, and thank you for expanding on some of this and your perspectives on Annihilationism.
Yes,
and your
on
respect for jam.
Yes.
Yeah.
Respect but not like. Yep.
Yep. Alrighty.
Great.
See you next week.
Catch you later, George.
Thanks, guys.
See you,
Bye.
friends.